from the live music capital to the live worship capital. God's already doing it. You shall be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord will name. You shall be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, a royal diadem in the hand of your God. You shall no longer be termed forsaken, nor shall your land be called desolate. But you shall be called Hephzibah, and your land Beulah, for the Lord delights in you, and you shall be married. Listen to this next part. For as a young man marries a virgin, so shall your sons marry you. You want to see desolation broken off of a generation? You want to see desolation broken off of a city? You want to see desolation broken off of a government? Then we need sons and daughters to arise who say, I marry the land. God, I give myself to this city until I see righteousness and justices break out like the noonday. I'm telling you, there's been words and words and words, but we can't just be hearers of the words only. We must become doers of the word as well. What would happen if a generation, if mothers and fathers and sons and daughters, those who have been plowing for years in the city, those who have just maybe come into the city, begin to converge together and begin to contend for what God is saying the name of the city is being changed into. And it's not just that, it's many things, but come on. The destiny of this city, I'm telling you, the nations are going to drink from the well of this place. What is it about every movement? Every movement has a sound, doesn't it? Yes. The hippie movement could not go anywhere without the sound of the Beatles carrying it along, right? And all these other young musicians and prophets, I'm telling you, you can just go on and on and on and on. But this is the 40-year anniversary of the the climax of the Jesus movement. It was called Explo 72. And 40 years ago, 1972, about 100,000 Jesus movement hippies converged together in Dallas, Texas, and they filled the Cotton Bowl every night. A stadium gathering after stadium gathering, they were being equipped, and guess what? Many can point back, the modern day Christian music movement was birthed out of that thing. 40 years are up, here we go around the mountain again. I say it's time for another worship movement to begin to be launched into the heart of the generation. I'm telling you, the emerging move of God, it's awesome. Many prophets and apostles, and come on, everybody, if you have any kind of discernment at all, you can feel we are on the brinks of something. Something is right about to break out, and we need sons and daughters to say, I'm marrying the land. I'm going to marry you so I can see the desolation broken off, so we can see this thing come to pass. God is looking for Austin to throw aside all of her denominational, territorial, all that kind of crap, and converge together, because He's looking for one man in Austin. He's not looking for your church. He's not looking for your house of prayer. He's not looking for you to try to get more people to your thing or your thing. He is looking for you to become one man, Austin. One man. Because He's desiring a midwife in the earth. I'm telling you, things that are born of spirit are spirit. You can tell if it's born of a good idea, it's not going to last through the test of time. But I'm telling you, God has destiny on this place. Think about it. Austin, you already know this stuff. Austin is the governmental seat of the prophetic state. What would happen if intercessors and apostles and prophets and psalmists begin to contend and pray into that thing on a unified scale, not just in your little house of prayer, your little church here or there, but begin to converge together and see a tent peg put up in the tabernacle of David? What would happen? Let's go to Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 9, verse 1 through 10. Amos chapter 9, verse 1 through 10, the nation is in a crisis. Just take time later on tonight and just read through it. People have left their first love. I mean, everything is just falling apart. And you can just see written there on the page, God is literally saying, guys, I don't want to, but if you don't do something to change this, my judgments are going to have to be released upon you. And the people are so numb they can't even see that. It's an emergency. But all of a sudden, God has an emergency answer to the crisis. God himself breaks in with a 911 emergency answer. He says, Amos 9:11, 911. He says this, in that day. You ever thought, why does it say that? Why does it say in that day? Because the Lord is prophesying about Amos 9, 1 through 10. In the day where the nation is in crisis, where everything is falling apart, where literally the cities and the nations rage, where they've left their first love, God says, in that day I'm going to rebuild the tabernacle of David, which tent pegs has fallen down. I'm going to repair its breaches. Come on. What would happen as the canopy of the presence of the Lord rises over the earth? What would happen if a city became one man and said, God, we want to be your tent peg. Here, don't pass us by. I'm telling you, the presence of God does it all. If we don't have the presence, we don't have anything. You can have another nice program, you can have another church growth conference, but unless you have the real thing. Ray Charles used to say, nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like the real thing. A bunch of, come on, we want the real thing. We want the real Jesus. Want the real Jesus, please stand up. Come on, this canopy, David's tabernacle, is beginning to be released on a global scale. The whole earth is becoming a massive global upper room. Where is the tent peg of Austin, Texas? Who are going to be the ones to throw their little agendas aside and begin to cry out and begin to link arms together and say, we're going to do it together. Not one man can do it, but one unified band can do it. There's grace and there's wind, whatever. The oil of unity is released on a city.
You are not here in this city because the job brought you here. You're not here because family brought you here. You're not here because of a crisis. You're here because God determined beforehand that you would live at this time in this place, and He established the boundaries for you. It's what we read in the book of Acts. This is your territory. God has entrusted to us, His people, to stand in this territory and redeem it for His kingdom. So I am commissioning you, each and every one of you, that you take the authority over the territory God has given you. You expand that territory. You go into new areas. You let the kingdom of God be manifest through your words and through your actions. And we will see Austin transformed. We know this is God's will. You're here by divine appointment. I said you're here by divine appointment.